So I thought I'd fill you in a bit on some deals that I had actually gotten on Dream Factory. Now, the first deal we had gotten was back in 2013, and it's amazing how in this industry it's who you know, and that's what led to the deal that I had gotten. So back in 2013, in January of that year, I was at the NATPE conference in Miami, which is the National Association of Television Program Executives. I've been going there since 1997. I know a lot of the executives. I speak there quite often. And that year I had a booth with my other company, my SellYourTVConceptNow.com company, where we help people with how to develop package picture TV shows. And I had a bunch of my clients there with me. And most execs know that I go there with an entourage of people every year. So I was sitting in my booth, and a man walks in, one of the executives and owners of Caxton Animation down in Mexico. He walks in, and we catch up a little bit. I had known him quite well because the year before, I had been at two different units of his studio, one in Guadalajara and one in Puerto Vallarta, training their story artists and their directors in storyboarding and the software Storyboard Pro. So it was great. I spent about a week at each facility, really going over everything. I actually even directed one of their shorts that they produced for a feature. It was a short within one of their features. It was great. It was really fun. I got along great with everyone. So we were catching up, and he said, look, thanks so much for all your help. We're actually starting on our first feature film right now. In fact, we're looking for another property to follow it up. And he said, we were really hoping that, maybe you could help us out if any of your clients, any of the people you have here, have an idea for an animated feature. This is mostly a TV conference, but if any of you guys have an animated feature idea, we'd like to take a look at it. So we talked a little bit about what he was looking for, and I said, you know what? Let's, if you got a couple minutes, let's step away. I had my head writer was in our booth, Wayne, and so Ricardo and I stepped off to the side and sat at a table there in the middle of the conference, and I pitched him Dream Factory, and he loved it. So I figured, wow, this is really going great. It was so funny. It was like being dropped right in my lap, right? So he said, this is great. Give me your, send me your information. I'll take it to the board, and we'll go over it. So by the time March came around, we were going back and forth and just following up. Everything takes longer than you think it's going to take, unfortunately. But in March, they sent me an offer. And I thought, this is great. Now, I knew my agent was going to negotiate the deal. So I had that set up. But, like anything, I never leave negotiation completely up to an agent. Yeah, it's their job to be the asshole so I can stay nice and be able to work with, have good working terms with anyone I'm working with. And it's not just me. I mean, this is the way the industry works. Let the agent be the bad guy so that you don't ruin a relationship to be able to work with people. It works out great. But I needed more information. So I reached out to a friend of mine, Max Howard, and Max had been an executive at Warner Brothers Feature. He's president of Warner Brothers Feature. He was a VP over at DreamWorks Animation. He started the Orlando and Paris units for Disney. Did everything from Lion King to Iron Giant. I mean, this guy has been around. But for the past few years, he's been working a lot of independent, foreign, and more low-budget features. So I knew he would know a better idea of what I could be expecting and should be asking for. So I reached out to him, and he filled me in. So some of the information that I'd given him was from having talked to Caxton. They were looking at this being a $10 million feature, $10 million US, but done in Mexico, which goes a long way. Which it's on the low end, but it's by far doable. I mean, a lot of features have been released that did really well, $2 or $3 million. So, all right, we'll make this work. It would be my first feature as a director, because so I developed it. I was going to co-write the script, and I was going to direct it. So everything, I was really happy with it. And I know the WGA minimum for directing a feature film is $124,000, at least it was then. But that was also for live action. And this is going to be a non-guild production, and I'm not in the guild, so that wouldn't affect it anything, but they are not signatory. And it's also animation. So Max was really helpful. He gave me an idea on what the script should go for, what he was paying for scripts, and what I should look for as far as a directing fee. Of course, you know, I was also thinking, well, I put the whole package together, I own the rights to it, so I wanted a fee for that as well. And that's when it started getting interesting, because the Caxton did not look at all the work I had done producing this and putting the deal together the same way I did. So that's when negotiating got really interesting. So anyway, it's a bigger story. I'm going to save that for our next blog entry.